Start speaking out loud to your spirit guides every single day. If you want to develop a relationship to your spirit guides that feels authentic and it's something that you trust, and I'm going to be going through today some ways you can start creating that relationship with your spirit guides. Hi, my name is Layla. This is Stop Trying to Be Spiritual, and it's the podcast about spirituality, about connecting to your intuition, spirit guides, but really doing it in a way of which we then reflect onto ourselves, utilizing our guides, our psychic abilities, our intuition to understand the truth of who we really are, the soul, the spirit, the higher self, so that showing up authentically, letting your intuition, your soul lead your life is just something that naturally happens. So let's talk about spirit guides. So spirit guides have been instrumental in my spiritual awakening and my healing journey. I talk to my guides about everything. A lot of people want to connect into their guides. Honestly, that's one of the main things I would say people book their spirit connector sessions and their mentorships over is I want to connect into my guides, but I don't know if I'm actually connected into my spirit guides, if I am making it up, and how can I know the difference? Learning how to create a relationship with your guides would be like creating a friendship with someone. It's, do you know them? Do you understand how they communicate to you? It's being curious about this interaction. How we do that is by developing this relationship very naturally and authentically, but you first have to meet. And so a lot of people have never done the meeting of their guides to really understand how they uniquely feel, what they're here helping them with. They've never gone really back and forth with their guides. And so a lot of people will say, I have a connection to my spirit guides. And I'll say, okay, what has been your interaction? And it'll be, I just feel, I just know, which is actually perfect. But that's just like the starting point of the door opening of a relationship. We want to truly understand, by utilizing our main psychic abilities, how our guides want to interact with us and how they communicate with us. That's why I always walk people through a meeting of their spirit guides. What that looks like is, I call it an energetic signature. What does your spirit guide uniquely feel like to you? First, your main guide, maybe your second guide, your third guide. And our guides can have different roles in our life. And some will fill one role or some will have dual roles. Like one of my main spirit guides that I met, she was my main guide working with me. She was also my mediumship and intuitive guide. How did I know that? Well, what I did is, one, I had already been developing my psychic abilities. So what that looked like is I was sitting daily in meditation. I was opening up my chakras and clearing them and balancing them, lighting them up and running energy. This is something I teach everyone how to do. If you've done a spirit connector session with me or you've been in mentorship, you know I'm going to be talking about your energy first, because it is the car, it is the engine that gets you to where you need to be. You are not going to be able to connect in with clarity and with discernment if your energetic field is not open and balanced and clear. It doesn't mean perfection. Absolutely not. It just means understanding how to open yourself up into that higher state of awareness so that you can actually feel what it feels like to connect into spirit outside of the mind, because the mind will be really confusing. And a lot of us are trying to connect into our intuition, our psychic abilities, to our spirit guides in the mind space. It isn't difficult, but it does require practice, and it does require a dedication to opening up your energy field and kind of sitting in that expansiveness. Once I show you how to do that, then it's understanding, how does spirit uniquely work with me? What do I just feel when I call in spirit? What do I just want to say? What do I hear? What do I see? What do I just know? What do I empathically feel? Everyone has a natural intuitive flow. Meaning, so many people are trying just to see spirit, and they are bypassing the fact that they may feel energy mostly. They may be a feeler of energy of, I just feel like saying this, and or the empathic feeling of, I feel the emotional energy and I physicalize that energy as an empath of my guides. So remember, empaths mirror other people. They mirror their environment, but more than just like physical people, they mirror the energy that's in a space. So that looks like non-physical energy as well. That's why it's such an intense experience for you when you connect into your guides, when you connect into psychic information and energy, is because you literally feel it within you, which is actually really beautiful if you learn how to clear your energy first and then start connecting into your guides one by one. So again, with making this relationship, we open up our psychic centers, we expand our energetic field, and then we have to start inviting our guides in. We call them in one by one. When paying attention and asking specific questions, that gives you information about who this guide is, how they're working with you, how they feel. What I show you how to do is, how do you take an energetic snapshot, is what I call it. Think of it like a spirit Polaroid of how that spirit guide interacts with you. What do they feel like? What do you see? What do you just know? What do you hear? And to take all of it as information and write it down. This is my first guide. This is my next guide. And seeing if some of your guides have that dual purpose. You know, if one of your guides is your main guide, but also maybe your spiritual development guide, that's so very natural. Once you have that understanding of who your guide is, how they work with you, how they connect to you, and how you uniquely receive intuitive and psychic information, then you can move forward with really developing the relationship to your spirit guide day by day. And too often we're just waiting till something happens in our life, and then we're like, oh, let me try to get an answer from my guide if I should take this job, or if I should do this, or what star system I'm from. And instead, if we focused every day on letting yourself feel your own energy first. What do I feel like? What does my soul want to tell me? How can I bring more of my soul, my higher self, my spirit into my physical awareness, and letting that be the animation of us? Like, what does that feel like? Okay. And then we move on to then calling in our spirit guides one by one. We've already met them. Remember? We have that energetic signature. And if you're interested in doing this, you can look into mentorship or spirit connector sessions with me, but also Awaken is opening for its 4th live round at the end of April. And you get a personalized energetic report of how your psychic abilities flow. I think it's week 3, we connect into spirit guides. And so I'll be leading you through this as well. It's 7 weeks of a live guided experience. More information will be in the comments. But once we have those energetic signatures of our spirit guides, and then we're do the daily practice of sitting with my own energy and then calling my guide in and out, it becomes easier and easier to understand the very subtle shift that each guide feels like to you in your day-to-day life. So imagine if, say, your main guide comes in and you feel this sense of pressure on your left chin right here, or you see a blue color, or you feel as though you see a guide who has a long beard, and you're saying, that's my main spirit guide. We may have gotten a name for them or not. It doesn't really matter, because as long as you're thinking about the guide, all you have to do is think of my main guide, or think of their name, or think of how they look, and their energy is just coming more into your awareness, because your guides are always connected to you. They're always connected to your energy. They're intrinsically connected to your energy. And so when we think of our guide or decide that we want to communicate with our guide even more, all they're doing is bringing their energy a little bit more into our focus. We're also setting the intention that we're wanting to connect in more. And so that brings your guide into your awareness. When we start to do that day by day, you start to go, okay, yeah, like I've done this now 10, 15, 20 days. I know that each time I call in my main guide, I feel the pressure here. I feel this sense of love take over. And I always hear around my heart, I hear the word love. Beautiful. Okay, that's how we're going to start developing this relationship with our guides. And so why I tell people to speak to your guides out loud, like you're going back and forth, is it gets us out of our mind, because you're already too much in your mind. Most of society is too much in their mind. We're always thinking, we're always processing, we're always getting more information. A lack of information isn't the issue. What the issue is we have too much of it. Instead of moving into embodiment, because it can be confusing. We're like, am I making this up? Is this even happening? Or am I inviting something in that is inaccurate? We go, well, if I just maybe get some more information, let me research some more stuff. And again, the cycle continues, because we're talking about connecting to your guides. It will then become more and more trustworthy because you've built that relationship. It's like meeting someone for a first date. Now, I married my first date. I met my husband at 18. We married at 19, and we have been happily married this entire time. What is it, like 19 years? It'll be 19 years. Yeah. But it would be like having a first date. So I'm going to go based off of that one, right? It's going to be, this is exciting, this is cool, but then you're going to go into self-doubt. Are they talking to other people? Do they even like me? Did I mess up? Blah, blah, blah. You think all these things, right? And so the only way to really develop a new relationship and become secure in it is to work on it, to really learn, how do I feel when I'm with this person? What does that feel like? How do they communicate? How do I communicate? Same way with your spirit guide. When you continue to connect in every day, and you speak it out loud, like I'll just talk to my guides out loud all the time. And it's a good thing because I work for myself, so I can do that anytime I want. But in a way, we want to create a relationship with our guides where it's not this sense of hierarchy. It's not this sense of, let me ask my guide and hope that they appear. And then if they give me a one-word answer, I'm just going to like bow my head and like walk out of the temple backwards. Like, thank you so much. It's creating this sense of flow with your guide. Of knowing your spirit guide, they think of you as same level as them because they know you outside of your physical experience, without getting into this like broad subject of the fact that we are probably experiencing ourselves in multiple different forms and multiple different times all at the same time. What we need to understand is we are not just this human experience. You are experiencing yourself through the identity and the personality of you right now. A piece of you is here. A piece of that higher self, of that soul energy is projected into this body. But we are still in our remembrance. Our energy and awareness is still connected to the higher self, to the all, to everything. And we're just choosing to have this experience pulled into this physicalness in this very specific set of time. So our guides know that, okay? Our guides are speaking to us from that frequency. They know we've forgotten ourselves, okay? So when we talk to them, when you hold yourself into the same frequency as them and you speak to them like they are trusted friends and guides, and we're like along for this whole journey together, actually benefits you rather than feeling like, I'm walking into this temple of Dionysus, and hopefully he blesses my harvests with grapes, whatever. I'm going very Greek mythology here. What I'm saying is a lot of times we're talking to our guides, and one, we're either mistrusting ourselves because we don't know how they feel. Two, we don't know how we receive psychic energy. Or three, feel like our guides don't want to answer us or give us a one-word answer, and that should be enough. The truth is it's really all on us. We are either disconnected from our intuition. We haven't gotten into a flow state. When we feel as though our guides aren't answering us, I can usually always say that isn't true. And there's a couple of different things that I work with people on of how do you get past the I'm not hearing anything. Because typically what it is we're not asking questions in the right way, and or we're asking questions we're actually really fearful of the answer. So we feel as though our guides aren't responding, but what we're doing is we're asking a question that has a lot of ego, a lot of power in our lives. And I don't mean ego in a bad way. We all have ego. It's what keeps us safe. It's what keeps us in the body. It's what keeps us like individualizing ourselves. So it is important when we ask questions that are heavily loaded with emotion and our feeling of safety. A lot of times we will override ourselves and we won't hear the answer. We won't be able to connect into that higher frequency because we moved out of the state of flow. So it's like learning how to ask questions the right way is also something that's probably happening. But if we don't get anything, it's how do we then ask questions in a different way? How do we still connect into the experience of our guides and just feel their energy and let them just speak to us rather than us prompting the entire experience? So this is what I mean when I say your experience with your spirit guides, if you're feeling disconnected or you're feeling as though, I hear all the time, they're MIA, Layla, they're not here. No, that's not true. Or you're feeling really confused if you're making it up. It really is you getting into the right energetic flow and you asking questions that allow for an intuitive flow of back and forth rather than yes, no energy. Our guides really don't even think in yes and no. If I ask questions like, will this work out? Yes or no? Like my whole body just contracted. It didn't even feel good. It's going to put us into the human. And we're trying everything to safeguard our energy so the ego can't jump in, not for this experience, okay? What we want to do is instead of asking yes or no, we're going to ask questions that create expansiveness, that create opportunity, that create curiosity. Our guides aren't here to tell us what to do. They are here to guide us to a higher awareness, to a different perspective, to see things from a different vantage point so that we still are experiencing life. We're still moving through life. Okay. It's just, they give us a different perspective that allows you to see the soul lesson in it, the soul magic in it, the experience that your shadow, your psyche, soul is asking you to either release, surrender, embody more, so that we become more present with ourselves. That's why, like, if you're asking questions expecting your guides to make your life better in the fact that you no longer experience life, then that's not what it's really for. You'll get confusing answers with that. We're here to say, as a trusted mentor, as a trusted guide, help me see this experience from a different perspective. Because right now I'm really feeling stuck in the emotion of it. Right now I'm feeling stuck in the anger. Right now I feel like I'm in a loop cycle that I can't get out of. Show me this differently. That's how we invite this openness with our guides. And in truth, same thing in relationships. If you are in a friendship and what you're speaking to your friend about is, do you think this is going to happen? Yes or no? Do you think I should do this? Yes or no? Feel like how it's like cut and dry. It's all contracting energy. Instead of saying to a friend, I'm going through this experience and, you know, I'm working out if I should be doing this or this. What do you feel? What wisdom can you bring me about this? When you feel how open that is, how much opportunity you give, and how equal of a relationship it feels like. I'm not coming to you because I want you to just solve my problems. Most people don't want their problems solved by other people, because you'll have another issue on top of the solution that they're probably giving you anyways. We just want to be met. We just want to be seen. We want to be felt. That's what we're doing with our guides. And so the reason why I say talk to your guides out loud, I mean, do it to the point that makes sense to you, of course. I want you to hold conversations in a way that you feel like you learn to take it out of the head, put it into real life, and feel that sense of nourishment from your guides. Now, I get the unique ability of connecting into my spirit guides for people every single day. And so they get to hear me. I kind of say myself out loud because I want you to hear how I ask questions, how I interact. And so if I have a client that I'm working with and they're asking a question about a relationship, I'll say, okay, show me the relationship, show me the experience and the energetic energy of what that relationship looks like. What are they going through? And I'll let my guides kind of drop in. I'll be like, oh, interesting. This is what they're making me feel. This is what they're making me see. And then my client will go, but am I supposed to stay in this relationship? Is this going to change? And so then I ask the question, usually differently for them. I'll say, hey, can I change the way we word this? What would it look like if I stay in this relationship versus what would it look like if I, had the conversation about the issues that we're having? And my guides will drop in information and energy about that. And so talking to your guides out loud, it creates a sense of curiosity. It creates this sense of, we are having a collaborative energy going back and forth. We really need to try to make it so that our ego can't play in this game as much. When we keep it in our mind and we keep it locked up, just like emotions or feelings or experiences, when we keep it all in the mental space to try to qualify it, it loses the magic. It loses the energy flow. It gets stuck in our energetic form. What we're wanting is expansion. We're wanting to feel this sense of fluidity, this sense of magnetism. What do I mean when I'm saying all these things? I'm saying these words, I'm like, does this make sense? What I'm meaning is, I imagine you're trying to create in your spiritual awakening in life is to feel this sense of, I'm being led by my soul, which is an expansive feeling. Literally, it feels like my chest goes up. I get wider. I get bigger. My light feels shinier. When I contract, it feels like the energy comes in around me. It gets a little dark. I don't feel as magnetic. And so that's what I mean when I say we're looking to create more magnetism. We do that by allowing the flow of energy, meaning we speak what we feel, We don't hold information in and try to process it only in our heads. We move our bodies. We speak it out somatically. We move, we experience. I talk to my guides. Oh, interesting, curious, show me something differently. You see how I'm creating movement to everything. And so often we box these things up and we compartmentalize them, the experiences that we're having in our life, and or the connection that we have to the divine, to our soul, to our guides, and it leaves it feeling disjointed, inauthentic. That's not what you want. I know that's not what you want. Whether you're speaking it out loud, whether you're going back and forth in your heart to your guide and kind of holding that sense of whimsy, that sense of curiosity, we want to create that fluidity. We want to know that our guides can communicate to us and we can receive it, and then we ask questions back and forth, okay? Like, in learning how to ask questions is something I actually think I have such an overactive mind. This might be a little bit of that Virgo moon quality, but my mind is so overactive that I'm always thinking and questioning things from 1,000 different ways. Well, yeah, what about this? But you say that, but what about that? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. That's how my mind works. And so I took that. And then when my guide would say something like, love yourself, I would ask it in, well, what does that mean? Show me what that looks like. Well, I've tried that. Am I not doing it? Like, ask your questions in multiple different ways. The reason why I can do that is I feel like I have the authority to do that because I know my guides know me outside of my personality of the identity of Layla, right? I'm not scared of their energy. I'm not intimidated by their energy. At first it was like, oh my God, my guide's here. Oh my gosh, I feel this angel here, which is reverent and it's beautiful. And you should have that sense of love and reverence. And there should be that respect. But when you really love someone, when you're really connected to someone, when you know that they have your best interests at heart, can I talk freely here? Can I go back and forth? Of course. Of course. So having conversations out loud, start connecting into your guides, inviting them into your space. You can do it. I know the thought is, Layla, I don't have time for that. You work from home. I, have 3 kids. I work a full-time job. I did this while working 12-hour night shifts, not having a babysitter, having my 3-year-old home and watching her during the day while I took small naps and then going back in for a 12-hour shift. It was not easy. And I'm not someone with an abundance of energy. Okay. Not an abundance of energy. This adds to your life. It does not take away from your life. If you learn how to apply it into your day-to-day life, where it's not like another thing you need to check the box off of. Oh, I got to do laundry. I got to do this. I got to talk to my guides. No, it is a pleasure to do this. It adds energy back to me. It gives me something back. So even if it's just 5 minutes of connecting into my field, opening my energy, expanding, and the more and more you do it, the quicker it gets, right? Because we're working against ourselves at first, quicker it gets. And then I start, okay, what is it my guide wants me to know? Going back and forth a little bit. I've added to my experience. I haven't taken away from myself. Don't know if this is a quote or this is just something I've heard along the lines, you don't have enough that's filling you up in your life. Like, oh, life is so tough. Life is hard, because realistically it is. Like, it's challenging. And it goes in ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's that you don't have enough on the other side of the scale of things that feed you, that nourish you. When we don't have that nourishment, that feeding of our soul, of our energy, then it's like everything over here gets way too heavy and it feels so overwhelming. I have noticed that if I don't spend time in my soul and my spirit, and I don't spend time in connection to myself, any extra little like feather drop of a thing of responsibility or someone asking me a question, like I've got too much. So what we're doing is we're adding balance to the other side of this scale, that you have more to feed yourself. And then our ability and our resilience for life grows. I didn't understand that. I thought I needed to cut everything out, and things you do need to cut things out at first. You need to reboundary yourself in the beginning part of your awakening. The next phase of our awakening is, how can we create more resilience? Okay. So connecting to your guides is a way that you can start building that inner resilience, that feeding and nourishing of your soul, and learning how to do it in a way that is natural and communicative. Is going to take you out of that, oh, I just got one word answer, I'm going to be done here. Okay. So your guides want to assist you. They are not mean, snobby people. They aren't like, forget her, we're going to be over here for the next 2 years while your life spirals. It is literally the human experience blocking our conscious connection to our guides. Your guides are working hard, okay? They are bringing experiences, people, situations, spirit signs, all of this stuff to you to try to get your attention. In that moment, you could be disconnected from that conscious awareness. And if you've been frustrated, like, I've tried everything, it's so hard, this is where we then move into compassion, because instead of being frustrated and being like, oh, this is so much, can you be frustrated and not bypass that emotion and still go into a compassionate space for yourself of course, this is hard. This is something new. That's actually going to help you connect. Hopefully this has opened up some possibilities of connection to spirit guides, how to make it more natural. Awaken is enrolling for the end of April. My one-on-one mentorship is for people in the beginning or middle part of their awakening. They know they're spiritual, know they're intuitive, but they're having a hard time really connecting in and trusting their intuition, their psychic abilities, their spirit guides. Signing up for my one-on-one mentorship does connect you in to the Awaken course. So if you're interested in doing that and want one-on-one personalized guidance with me for at least 3 months, look for more information down below. I have opened up more space for more mentorship students. If you received something from this episode, let me know down below. I read all of your comments. Like, share, and rate the show. Until next time, stop trying to be spiritual. Just be it.